If you guys have been watching the channel lately, you know we've been getting together with folks that we haven't seen in quite some time. I've been going through photos, and one of the ones I've been going through the last few days are Brewerton Speedway from 2011 and 2012, and that was time when the guy that I've got on the phone right now was really getting going in big block modified racing. Matt Fink started racing karts when he was in his teens, went to Sportsman for 6 races after that, went to big blocks in '06, did that to 2015. 4 big block modified wins over that time, 2 at Brewerton, 2 at Fulton. He won in 2011, 2012, 2014, and 2015. And if you're wondering about the picture that we got up, we'll talk to Matt about that in a second. Let's head on down to the coast in North Carolina, and Wilmington is where he is right now. I got that right, didn't I, Matt?
Yes, sir.
All right, tell me about that picture we're looking at right there. Talk about a couple of kids in love at an early stage of racing, huh?
Yeah, just a couple of racing family kids, and yeah, Amanda and I we'd been dating for a couple of years even at that point. So yeah, I guess really if you're going to make it work in racing, it's a lot easier if you both come from racing families. So it worked out pretty good for both of us, I guess. So and even several years removed from racing, I guess she still is putting up with me. So we're still going okay. So she hasn't kicked me out of the house or anything like that at this point. So we're still all right at this point.
And of course, his wife is from the Bowman family. So really, I mean, is that how you guys met at the track, or?
Yeah, basically. Obviously, our families go way back, of course, just through racing. But that's basically how her and I had met. Was just Mike and I being pretty close, and just over time, her and I just became close friends, and it just was a good fit, apparently. So, and even obviously, racing, racing families tend to stay together, and even without racing, we've found a way to make life interesting enough, I guess, to keep things going. So
you knew her brother Mike before you knew her?
Yes.
Was that awkward? I mean, this was his little sister, I take it, or?
Yeah, I guess a little bit, but I guess at the same time, we had a good enough relationship, Mike and I, and the rest of the family, myself and the rest of the family, that I think it was a good fit. That I think everybody was pretty comfortable with it.
Good.
I guess at the time, it was a long time ago now.
I know,
very
really,
long.
Really stretching his brain.
Way back, like this was like 2005-ish. So I'm not as young as I once was, sadly. So, and those years do fly by. But yeah, it was one of those things where everybody had just known each other for a long period of time, and and I think just being racing families makes it a little bit easier too. I think I'm sure other people can kind of relate to that too. So.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause it's tough to bring somebody who's not from racing in because it's a big adjustment, honestly. So what are your biggest memories as you look back at your time running big blocks?
Well, sadly, I think when I look back now, like I have those like nightmares almost. If you call them like those, like when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're dreaming about like races you think you should have won more than anything like that. Like those are the ones that really bug me. I don't really think about the good times so much.
Really?
I tend to think about the stuff that like the coulda woulda beens, but a little I guess overly competitive like that. I guess looking back, like I think about like those kind of nights that were really going your way or should have gone your way, I guess in your mind, but. We had a really good run there from like 2011 to 2015. Once we really kind of got the equipment together and just finally hunkered down and like ran 2 nights a week and just everything just got put together for us, and we won we won races those years, and we were super competitive, and we were really never out of the top 10, especially at Brewerton and Fulton. And, but there were a lot of nights that we really should have won some other races and just some stuff that was, out of our hands that didn't go our way, but there were definitely things that were well within my control that when I look back on, I think to myself, and I'm like, oh man, like, I'd love to have a chance to go back and do it over again. But of course, like, that's really pointless thinking. But
is there one race or one particular night that you think back on and go, man, I wish I had that one I could do over again?
There's probably a good half a dozen or so, I'd say, that I could probably think of. It's probably hard to pin them all down. Just silly like mechanical failures I would think of that we were either leading or or just like well in control. That just I can't tell you how many races that we were either leading with 5 to go and just something stupid happened and we ended up either dropping out or finishing second or third or something. And of course it's that's life. I mean that's racing. That's I mean, anybody that's raced long enough knows what that's like. So I'm doesn't make me any different than anybody else. But I guess it's just tough because we worked so hard to like get to that point to where we had a competitive car and somewhat competitive engine program and everything like that. And then we run those 4 or 5 seasons there, and felt like we left a little meat on the bone. And then to walk away, and then feel like we're just getting to the point where as a driver, I was really at the getting to the point where I wouldn't say at the top of my game or anything like that, but really, really getting to the point where I could hang with I wouldn't say like the series guys or anything like that, but getting to the point where you could compete with those guys with if you wanted to take on a bit more of a challenge or something of that nature, whether you wanted to maybe go run somewhat of a series schedule or something like that, go take on a bit more of a challenge, but kind of walked away at that point, so you'll never really know in the back of your mind what you left. So
what did eventually cause you to walk away? Was it time? Was it money? Was it all the above? Was it family?
Yeah, it's a little bit of all the above, but it's basically the point where we were just tapped out financially, to run that big block program competitively. We squeezed every corner we could basically to make it work. And when you're losing races, when you feel like you're losing races because you're having to cut corners, and then at the end of the season you say to yourself, okay, like this is what we're going to need to be competitive, and then you get the bill or the quote, to say, okay, like and that goes up every year, and finally got to the point where I'm like, well, I'm sick of working that hard to lose.
I get that.
I guess I got to the point where I said, this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense anymore, and we just chose to kind of walk away from it, and I didn't want to move down a class or anything like that. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me at that point. So we decided at the end of 15 that it was time to walk away, and it was, I guess, probably the right decision, but never makes it easy. So
a little less than a minute left. It's amazing how fast the time goes. I asked you this question beforehand, and I wanted to get your reaction. Your dad raced road course. Of course, your father or your grandfather was Harvey Fink. Do we consider you a third-generation racer?
That's a good question. I mean, Harvey said he never really went fast enough to go racing, so not to pick on him. We love him. Yeah. So 2.5, I guess. So we'll call it that. We'll give him credit for getting behind the wheel and for everything he's done for racing for all of us. So 2.5. So.
We'll get back with Matt later. I left a lot on the table here with him, but that just gives me another reason to get a hold of him a little bit later on. So please say hi to everybody for me down there, and we'll make sure we do this again, and hopefully I'll hear from your brother-in-law here real soon, too. Thank you.
We'll do that. We'll make sure he does.
Appreciate your time, man. Guys, hit the likes, hit the subscription, turn on notifications, hit the blue E down there in the corner, and really fun catching up. And if you have a suggestion, make sure to get it to me, Doug at Doug's Dirt Diary.